each presenter is 5 minutes. There will be a timer that will be showing on the top of your presentation, and please take note of that. Then please also note that 5 minutes will be dedicated to a question and answer round after presentations of every 5 universities. And after every university presentation, there will be a survey question that will be flashed on your screens. So students, pay attention to that, because you are required to address that question, answer that question, and that your feedback would be fed in. So let us begin with our first 5 institutions, and the order will be this. So coming in first will be Kelsey Howard from Depaul University, and followed by South Dakota State University, then Indiana University, then University of Redlands, and then we'll have Providence College in this first round. So can I please now invite Kelsey Howard from DePaul University? Kelsey, we cannot hear you, Kelsey.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah.
Okay, and do I need to dock or something? Is that something that I need to? Farheen's mentioning docking and undocking. No. Okay.
From the presentation area.
Sorry?
If you undock, then you will, this box that you see will be removed from the presentation area. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So hopefully everyone can hear me now. Again, I'm Kelsey. I represent DePaul University. We're located in Chicago, Illinois, which you can see pictured here in the photo. It's the 3rd largest city in the United States. So we're a very urban campus. We have about 23,000 students. So we are a large university. In fact, we're the largest university in the US whose main focus is teaching rather than research, which is what a lot of public universities might focus on. So the main difference in terms of your experience as a student would be that professors are always going to be teaching your classes. Most of the classes are relatively small, even though we are a large institution. So there's a huge focus placed on your education and what happens in the classroom. Next slide, please. So, like I said, we are in the center of the city. We're actually located in 2 areas of Chicago. One is the Loop campus, which is actually in the area you see pictured here, the downtown commercial district of Chicago. And then in the previous slide was Lincoln Park campus, which is on the near north side. It takes about 15 minutes on a train to get between the 2 campuses, and most of our undergraduate students will actually take classes in both campus locations during their 4 years at DePaul. In our academic program offerings, we have over 300 different options to choose from, including over 130 undergraduate majors and over 175 graduate majors. A really great thing that we offer as well is the option to combine your bachelor's and master's degree if you want to do both degrees at DePaul. This will allow you to complete both degrees in 5 years instead of the usual 6 that it would take in the US to complete your 4 years bachelor's degree and your 2 years master's degree. So that can save you a whole year of time and tuition if you want to stay and do both degrees at DePaul. Another thing I will mention is the different types of programs that we offer. Our most popular areas are our College of Computing and Digital Media and our College of Business. But we also have a College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences, a College of Communication, Music, Theater, Law, and Health Sciences. So if any of those programs interest you, it's a very wide range of subject offerings. The only main things that we don't offer are going to be hard engineering programs like mechanical engineering or physical type of engineering programs. We have engineering programs in computers, and that's pretty much all in engineering. So we don't offer that. We don't offer architecture, and we don't offer nursing except at the master's level. So just some things to note there. You can move to the next slide, please. I wanted to also highlight that we do have several majors at both the undergraduate and graduate level that are designated as STEM. So most of you probably know that STEM programs, if you graduate from a STEM designated major in the US, you're allowed to extend your work experience for an additional 2 years. So I just wanted to highlight that we do have a number of offerings in that field. Next slide. The most important thing I think that many students and their families are looking for in their education is, where is it going to get you after you graduate? We do a really great job at Depaul making sure that the outcomes after you finish your degree are very positive. We have over 90% success rate for graduates 6 months after they finish their degree at Depaul. And actually, we have a really high percentage of our students participating in internships because it's required that you do experiential learning outside of the classroom to graduate from your bachelor's degree. So actually now over 60% of our last graduating class participated in internships at Depaul. So if you really want to get that experience outside of class before you even graduate, you should check us out. Last slide. Very quickly before I go, these are the application requirements. If you're applying as a first-year student, we're on the common application. There's no application fee. And then beyond that, all we're going to need are your official results from secondary school and proof of English proficiency. We do not require the SAT or ACT for either admission or scholarship consideration. And our scholarships for freshmen go up to $24,000 per year, which is over half of your tuition. So if you're interested in being considered for those and not having to have the SAT, you can check us out. I think my time's almost up, so thank you so much. Hopefully you have some questions after this.
Well, thank you so much, Kelsey. We'll definitely have questions after 5 universities have presented. Of course, students are also encouraged to write their questions in the chat box, and you can continue answering them even there. Of course, we'll have a question answer round after 5 universities have presented, as shared earlier. All right, so students, please pay attention. We have a question on the screen. It says, how likely are you to apply to Depaul University after joining this webinar? So you have the options there. You can please go ahead and consider your replies, rather feed in your replies. All right. So now, can I please request Naveen to bring in John Stoff from South Dakota State University? Thank you, Naveen. Please go ahead and bring in John. Naveen, can you make John the presenter, please? Thank you.
Okay, can I be heard? Hello?
Yes, John. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Okay, so we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Hi from Brookings, South Dakota. My name is John Stauff. I'm the Assistant Vice President for International Affairs at South Dakota State University. And we are South Dakota's largest university in the middle of the country. If you fly to Chicago, if you fly to Minneapolis, you fly to Los Angeles, you'll have to change planes at one of those airports, but then we would be directly in the center of the country in what we call the Great Plains. So we can go on to the next slide, and I can introduce some of the programs we have to offer. Thank you. Okay, the first look at South Dakota State. We are not urban. We are decidedly rural in the sense that we are in a small town in a smaller state population-wise. We are about 24,000 people in Brookings, and we have a state of about 850,000 residents. So it's very different from Chicago, but it's also very beautiful, and skies are very blue, and it's very nice. We have 11,500 students at what is a public land-grant university, and land-grant is usually a code word in the United States for practical subjects, agriculture, engineering, health sciences, and building society, building communities, building civil society. And so we have been a very important force in our state toward creating the basis for a functioning economy, functioning agriculture, and schools, and all sorts of good things. 700 of our students are from international locations on F1 visa. In addition to those, we have 200 to 300 students who are doing optional practical training. And many of those students are doing that training in Brookings, South Dakota, of all places. We have manufacturing, we have some industry here that our students connect to. The university itself also hires a number of their graduates as postdocs, and for various applications in the university community. We have over 100 majors. We consider ourselves to be the STEM University of South Dakota, so plenty of those are in the category for 3 years of optional practical training. We have 30 master's programs, and we do have the ability to combine bachelor and master's in a 5-year program, should you desire, as well as doctoral programs. We have 2 professional doctorates, one of which is pharmacy, and that would be a 6-year program, 2 years at the preparatory stage, and then 4 years in the doctoral program in pharmacy. So you could get a doctoral degree in 6 years. Next slide, please. And here's a list of our academic colleges. Rather than tell you all 100 majors, we tried to group them into the units of our university. Agriculture is something very popular among graduate students from India. So we certainly have quite a few Indian professors as well as students in that college studying all sorts of aspects of food science, dairy science, as well as agronomy and plant science. And there's a lot of money in agriculture, a lot of jobs. So we encourage you to look at that. We have engineering, including computer science and data science. So you might want to take a look at that college. Natural sciences, the pure sciences, as well as nursing at all levels, bachelor, master, doctoral. Pharmacy, as I said, but then many of you are looking for STEM, but STEM can be found in all different places. So if you look at the arts, humanities, and social sciences, you'll see a number of different schools, including management, which is where we have our business disciplines, as well as design, architecture, communication, but then there could be disciplines within communication, such as health communications. And so with a land-grant university, you're going to see the different disciplines working very closely together, because after all, any artist on campus also needs to eat, they need shelter, and how do people interact with the built environment as well as the physical environment, natural environment outside our buildings here. So it's certainly a very integrated, holistic approach to education here at SDSU. Next slide, please. The figure on our I-20 is low. I'm sure not as low as a community college, but it's pretty close. It's $25,000 per annum. And in that scheme, there is scholarship assistance up to $4,000 a year. The tuition component of that 25,000 figure is approximately $13,000. For certain majors like architecture and aviation, there will be additional expenses to fly a plane. You can learn all about that, but unfortunately, those flight hours are a little bit more expensive than the lab hours in a chemistry class. So there are some considerations, but the vast majority of our majors, particularly in engineering and in the sciences, it's affordable. Our applications at all levels, including undergraduate, graduate, ESL, which is as big of a deal for you all, and Global Foundation year programs. We, for this coming fall, we certainly are being flexible because of the pandemic, so we have online start as well as on campus. Our deadlines are November 15 for the spring semester and June 15th for usually June 15th for the fall, but we can work with July 15th as well. Next slide. Finally, what we require, we don't require the SAT, but we do require an online application. We require transcripts, and we generally look at a 2.6 GPA as our cutoff. If you don't have a 2.6 GPA, you have our foundation program and you can gain admission through that. ESL, English language proficiency, obviously 61 is relatively low for international applicants, 5.5 on the IELTS, so that might look attractive to you, as well as the financial certification form and supporting bank documents, up to $25,000, as well as a passport copy. So we try to make it easy, and we hope that you give us a look. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, John. So yeah, we can now have so students, you would now see a question on your screens. So please go ahead and give in your answers to that. So what is the country with the second highest number of students at South Dakota State? So thank you so much, John, for that presentation. And now, Naveen, can we please have James Quill from Indiana University presenting? So can you make James the presenter, please? Thank you. And I hope you've removed Kelsey because I see. All right, yes. All right, James, thank you so much. Please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone from Bloomington, Indiana. My name is James Quill. I'm here representing IU Bloomington. IU is a large public research university, and we are the flagship institution of the Indiana University State System. We have about 33,000 undergraduates and about 10,000 graduate students, so we are on the larger side. We have over 200 majors, so I'm not going to cover obviously everything that we are able to teach, but the quick way I like to put it is that we offer a little bit of everything or a lot of everything except for engineering. So if you're interested in any kind of engineering other than intelligent systems engineering, then maybe don't look at us, but for everything else, I think we're worth a look. If there are some of you looking for graduate programs, we have over 400 graduate and certificate programs. Next slide, please. If you're not sure where Indiana is, I've provided this helpful map. So we are in the Midwest, which is generally considered one of the more friendly and hospitable and safe parts of the US. In terms of Bloomington itself, it is very much what would be considered a college town, which is to say it's a small town with kind of the feel and the vitality and the culture of a larger city. To give a sense of what that means, as I said, we have about 40,000 total students in Bloomington, and there's only about 100,000 overall in population, including those students. So almost half the town is made up of students. What that means is you have great access to all kinds of different restaurants, dozens of restaurants right near the university, really packed arts calendars, so different concerts coming through, different sports events and things like that. Also great for those of you who love the outdoors. We are surrounded by different state parks, miles of trails, and some really beautiful lakes. Next slide, please. This is one of our newer buildings on campus. It's the Hamilton Luger School for Global Studies. It's one of the largest international affairs schools in the country, and it's one of my favorites. It's really designed with the principles of trying to train the young and nonpartisan leaders. we are very strong in area studies. So if you're interested in East Asian studies, South Asian studies, Latin American studies, we're one of the best universities in the country to study that. We offer over 70 different languages, which is more than any university in the US. So if you're looking to study Mongolian or Uzbek, we're one of the places that you can definitely do that. Other popular majors include our Luddy School of Informatics and Computing, which has 4 different majors: data science, intelligent systems engineering, which I mentioned, as well as informatics. I would say our most popular draw for a lot of international students is our Kenley School of Business. It is a top 10 business school. What makes Kenley special, on top of just being a great business school, is that we're one of the few of the top 10 that allows for students who aren't directly admitted to also earn their way to get a spot in our business school. So what that means is, if you don't have the GPA or the test scores to be directly admitted into Kenley, we will give you a chance during your freshman year, if you declare your business major, to earn your way into the Kenley School of Business. And if you do that, you get the same degree, same business degree, same career services as the direct admit students. So that's something that's really special about our business school. There's also I-Corps, which is the Kenley Rite of Passage, as they call it. It's what happens during your junior year. It's a full semester giving you multiple real-time experiences, solving different business problems and developing professional and leadership skills, something that looks great on your resume and really helps our students when they graduate. Next slide, please. I'd be remiss, I think, if I didn't mention the amazing sports culture at IU. This is Memorial Stadium. It holds over 50,000 people. In this case, we have an American football team, but actually our soccer team was ranked number 2 in the nation last year. IU is extremely well known for basketball. Obviously, I feel I should mention that it may be some time that before we have 50,000 people gathered in the stadium again. But I still think that anyone who goes to IU would really cite the sports culture and these great big events like Little 500 as one of the key parts of their experience at IU. Next slide, please. In terms of applying, we are starting to go test optional this year, so you don't have to take the SAT or ACT to apply to IU. Our overall cost of attendance is about $52,000. That includes room and board, but we are offering scholarships of up to $11,000. And finally, I just want to mention, if you want to learn more about IU, I really encourage you to reach out to our student ambassadors. I really think that talking to current students, many of whom are studying at Kenley or who are studying in computer science or various majors, can really tell you what it's like to be at IU. And with that, I'm out of time. Looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, James. And yes, students, I would encourage you to write down your questions in the chat box also. I mean, because the presenters are, of course, there, and they can keep addressing those questions that come in the chat box as well. So that's also something that can happen. Of course, we'll have the Q&A round later, but at least we'll have the questions in the chat box that the presenters can address. So keep writing in the chat box that you see on your screens on the right. So we have the survey question. Did you know that Ranveer Singh earned his Bachelor of Arts in Creative Writing with a minor in theater at Indiana University? Well, I didn't know that, James. So that's a good one. All right. So go ahead, please, students. So I'm sure Ranveer Singh is a popular one here in India. So students, please go ahead and register your responses. All right. Thank you so much once again, James. Now, Naveen, can you please bring in Kenley Jones from University of Redlands?
Can you hear me?
Kenley?
Okay.
All right, I can hear you.
Awesome.
You're good to go.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, good morning. It's bright and early here on the West Coast of the United States. Glad to be here. My name is Kenley Jones, and I'm with the University of Redlands. We are a liberal arts and sciences university of just over 2,400 students located in Southern California. We're close to major cities and population hubs like Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego, and even Disneyland. After all, some would say Disneyland is a city in itself. In fact, Los Angeles, which is just over an hour away, and Mumbai, India, are actually sister cities to one another. Next slide. Being a smaller university, we feel very strongly in developing relationships. The relationships you will have with your fellow students. Can I get the next slide? Okay. Being a smaller university, we feel very strongly in developing relationships. Those relationships you will have with your fellow students, as well as your faculty members, faculty who will adapt their teaching style to your learning style, involve you in their research, and help you graduate from Redlands with a versatile and marketable degree in one of over 40 different bachelor's programs. We do offer limited master's degrees as well. What we are most known for at Redlands is computer science, business, creative writing, global business, and international relations. We also have the second oldest school of music in the state of California. Two of those programs I named, global business and international relations, truly have an international imprint. Which, considering over 50% of our students will study abroad before they graduate. And Redlands was actually the first American university with an international campus in Central Europe, located specifically in Salzburg, Austria. So developing you as global citizens is one of our top priorities. One program I want to highlight at Redlands specifically is our GIS Spatial Studies program. GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems or Mapping Sciences. See, the world's largest company called Esri, that's spelled ESRI, is actually located right by the University of Redlands. And they actually produce about 50% of all mapping software products. So if you ever looked at a map to see how information is plotted on a map, for example, where the population in India is, or China, or Australia, or where all the Starbucks in California are located, or the McDonald's in Europe, about 50% of that mapping products and software is created by Esri. In fact, they are actually being commissioned right now by over 3,000 organizations, including the World Health Organization and the United Nations, to create maps on COVID-19 related topics. So what's the connection to the University of Redlands? Well, every year we routinely have 7 to 8 Redlands students who are actually interning in Esri, and we currently have many Esri faculty who are also employed, or we have many Esri employees who are actually working and teaching in our GIS program. Our application for fall and spring intake will open in August. Next slide. There is no separate application for scholarships. In fact, if you are admitted to the University of Redlands, yes, we do have a higher cost being a private institution. But if you are admitted to Redlands, you will be guaranteed a scholarship. And on average, our average scholarship is about $26,000 per year. And as mentioned, about 100% of admitted students will receive a scholarship upon admissions. In addition to some of the other kinds of scholarship opportunities we have, creative arts, need-based scholarships, etc. If we go to the final slide, This is my contact information. I'm available, email, WhatsApp, our website. I love the University of Redlands, and I'm excited to pick you up at the airport in the near future. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kenley. Well, we have the question on the screen, students. You can go ahead and answer that question. How can Widener University help to change your future? So please go ahead and write in your responses. And yeah, please, as I mentioned in the chat box, please, students, if you want to ask something, then address your question with the name of the institution or the presenter, because that will be easy for when we have the Q&A round, the presenters can address your question directly. I mean, you can just write in the name of the university. Then when we have that Q&A round, I will ask that question to the presenter, and the presenter can come in again and answer your question. So please address your questions to the concerned university that you want to ask your question to. All right. Thank you once again, Kenley. Can we now have Patricia from Providence College, please? Naveen, can you bring her on?
Everyone. My name is Patricia Bergantino, and I am coming to you from Providence, Rhode Island. It's about 9:30 in the morning here. I know not quite as early as our friend from University of the Redlands. We just want to, first of all, just thank you for being here and participating and learning more about our colleges and universities. Just a little bit about Providence College. We are located in Providence, Rhode Island. That is about an hour south of Boston, Massachusetts, and 3 hours north of New York City. So it's a really easy opportunities to really get to explore the northeastern part of the United States. I don't think that's my slides that are up. There we go. Other things about Providence College is that unlike India, where you seem to have 2 different weather patterns, here in the Northeast, we have all 4 different weather systems. So something to be prepared for when you come here is you will need a coat because it does get kind of cold here. Next slide, please. Next slide, there we go. So Providence, Rhode Island, a little thing about us, we are a very creative arts city. It is a beautiful city. Rhode Island is the smallest state in the nation, but certainly has a lot of opportunity. It has over 400 miles of coastline, even though we are the smallest state. Hard to believe, but very true. Providence has both the best of city life and campus community. We do have a conducive, complete campus that you would be a part of. We're about 2 miles east of the city and about 5 miles from where Brown University is. So just to, if you know where Brown is and you've been there, kind of give you an idea. We have slightly above 4,000 undergraduate students, and the average class size is 20. Our most popular majors with students, especially international students, is going to be within our School of Business, Finance, Accounting, Marketing, and Management. Our School of Business has been highly ranked since probably for the last 10 years. And then the other popular majors are 3+2 engineering program. We have partnerships with Washington University of St. Louis and then Columbia University in New York City. We also offer a variety of majors in the sciences, from biology, chemistry, physics. We also have computer science. So a lot of opportunities for students to really get to explore what they'd like to study. We offer over 50 different majors, including majors in the social sciences. So again, students just really have an opportunity to learn and to explore what they'd like to do. Something unique about Providence College is that we do have a core curriculum that all students must take. This core curriculum is called the Development of Western Civilization, where you will study ideas from the beginning of time all the way to modern day. And have it at the end, there's a colloquium that will kind of let you know how that fits in with your major. You can pick any colloquium you want. So for example, for our marketing majors and our psychology majors, a few years ago, they attended a colloquium that talked about football is very big. American football, I should say, is very big in the United States, about Dunkin' Donuts. I know you have a few in India. I've been to one or two, where you would get a free coffee the day after the team won. And so they talked about the psychology of sports fans, where if you knew that your team was going to win on Sunday, then on Monday you get your free coffee. So those are different ideas for the colloquium. Next slide, please. So just some things about the review process here at Providence College. It is a holistic review process. We look at all aspects of your application. We have been test optional. So I know I saw a question about SAT and ACT. Some are this is going to be the first time for them this incoming year. We have been test optional for over 12 years. So we understand and value the work that you have done for the last several years as the best indicator of success. We do look at your GPA. We recalculate it on an unweighted 4.0 scale, and we give you a strength of curriculum rating. You'll see on the screen our different application deadlines for consideration. Other things about Providence College, just to keep in mind, is we are Division I sports. So students really have the opportunity to cheer on our Friars. Basketball and ice hockey are two of the most popular sports. But certainly students can participate in a variety of sports, including water polo. Last slide, please. Before I go, I should mention the fact that we do offer financial aid and scholarships. We offer up to full tuition into our scholarships, our financial aid, and up to 60% of scholarships. So I'm out of time, but thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Patricia, for that timely exit, so to say. Well,
could talk about Providence College all day.
Absolutely. Well, so students, you have the question on your screens, and so please go ahead and answer that. How will you challenge yourself at Providence College? So please go ahead and address that question and submit your answers. And of course, now we open up for the question answer round. So Patricia, if you have any questions that you see in the chat box addressed to you, you can go ahead and answer them.
Okay.
And then we can call in the four earlier presenters one at a time.
Great. I think right now I see a lot for South Dakota State and Depaul University.
Yeah. So of course, if there is any some kind of a generic question that you would like to address, you can maybe go ahead and address that.
And let me tell you, students, do not be shy. We'd love to answer questions. That's what we're here for. That's our job. So please don't be shy.
Please go ahead and ask your questions. I mean, of course, students are very curious about scholarship opportunities. So I see a couple of questions regarding that. So yeah, I mean, if there is anything that you want to talk to the students in that aspect, please go ahead.
I would say the important thing about scholarships and financial aid, it's going to vary by school. And with that, certainly ask them the question, how much do you offer for international students? How can I qualify for it? Our scholarships are based on two things. So our merit scholarship is truly merit-based. That means it's going to be based off your strength of curriculum. What was the highest level of, did you take APs, A levels, IB, and what is your GPA? As far as our financial aid, it's based off financial need, truly. And it's also if we can partner with the family and afford and help them. We are need aware in the admission process. So if we have a family, we know that you can afford, say, the cost of living, but maybe you need help with tuition, and we can help up to cost of tuition. That's how we based our financial aid.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Patricia. Naveen, can you please bring in Kelsey from Depaul University? She could address some questions that were there.
Hi. So hopefully everyone can hear me. Again,
Yes,
I'm at
go
DePaul
ahead.
University. I see someone has typed DePaul a few times, but I didn't see any question on that. So whoever typed that, I'm not sure, but I will answer. There's a question about whether or not we provide scholarship for psychology. So yeah, all of our undergraduate programs, with the exception of music and theater programs for bachelor's degrees, the scholarships range from $10,000 to $24,000 per year. And if you're admitted to DePaul, you're automatically considered for those, and it's based on how you've done in secondary school. The music and theater scholarships are performance-based because those are conservatory, highly selective conservatory programs. So very few students are admitted to those majors, and if you are admitted to them, the scholarship consideration is based on your talent in performance in either music or theater. The master's level study, the scholarships can vary from college to college. So depending on what college you're applying to, there may or may not be scholarships available. Most master's programs have a small number of what we call assistantships, which cover part or all of your tuition in exchange for you working as a graduate assistant on campus with a professor. So those are, like I said, there's usually only a few every year that are available, but they are open to all of our students admitted to those programs. I see another question. Is there any difference between CIS and MIS? So is that computer information systems and management information systems? I'm not sure.
I think so. Yes.
Okay. To be honest, I don't know. I don't have those majors specifically at my school. Judging by the name, I would say they're both a little bit similar, but with management information systems, it's probably typically housed in a business college, and something that starts with computer information systems would probably be more in like a department or a college that focuses more on tech and computing. So that might be the difference, but my advice would be to, if you see those programs at a university on offer, then their website will have more in-depth information about each of those majors, so you can kind of compare the two. We don't offer those specific programs at.
So you have a question there. Does DePaul provide any scholarship in psychology?
Yeah, and I addressed that when I first came on. So yeah, we for undergraduate, absolutely every major offers scholarships in the graduate program. For psychology, we have assistantships. I don't know that our College of Science and Health offers merit scholarships for international graduate students, but we do have those few assistantships available for all of the programs. I don't think that there was anything else specific to DePaul. I saw someone ask a question early on about whether or not universities in the US are going to like require the SAT or ACT. I'll just quickly address that. So like a lot of schools in the US, even before the pandemic, were test optional. So DePaul, for example, we have not required students to submit SAT or ACT scores since before COVID-19. But I do know that a lot of universities are either temporarily changing their testing policies or permanently shifting their testing policies to be test optional now that students have had such a hard time getting in to take those standardized tests, the SAT or ACT. So you'll just need to check with every university that you're interested in applying to, because we all have different admission policies. So there's not like a blanket statement, no university is going to require those tests. Every university has different policies.
All right, thank you so much, Kelsey. Can we now please bring in John from South Dakota State? Naveen, can you please make John the presenter, because there were a few questions for South Dakota. Naveen, can you hear me? Can we make John? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. John, can... Yes, John, go ahead, please. We can't hear you, John. Naveen, can you bring in John again, please? Because we cannot hear him.
How about now?
Yeah, yes, we do.
Okay, I've been clicking away. Okay, yes, there've been a number of questions, and I think I answered most of them in the text box, chat box. But right, we have we're a research university going all the way to doctoral programs. So we have a 4-year undergraduate program, and for residence life, we do have a requirement that students spend the first 2 years on campus, and we do know that that is probably more expensive than off-campus housing. But I think what you'll find is that it's good to have that first 2 years on campus to establish relationships and to figure out how the United States works in a relatively safe and secure environment. And then off-campus housing is certainly available in good quantity here. So we had that question, and I think we had a question about Honors College, and that was available for all majors, including interior design. If someone wants interior design, we have that too. There were usually scholarships, approximately $2,000 to $3,000 a year connected to the Honors College. So that was certainly something that might interest students. And I think that was, I'm just going through the charges for accommodations. That is, of course, variable. We have 14 different options in our residence life, and I believe it's $1,900 per semester for the option that we would like you to think about, and double occupancy. We have food service on campus, and of course we have India is our #1 country for international students and our #2 country as far as numbers of students here. So we certainly know different dietary preferences, and we try to work with them. And I believe, again, approximately $2,000 a semester for as much food as you want to eat at any time you want to eat it. It's a very flexible plan. So I think I've covered most of it. If you want to move on to someone else, it'll be fine.
Right. Thank you, John. Can we quickly now bring in James for a quick address, and then followed by Kenley? Can we bring in James, please?
All right, so I saw just a couple questions about accommodation charges, and those are included in the cost that I gave. So $54,000 included room and board charges. We do require students to live on campus their freshman year, and you can live in dorms or in what are called LLCs, which are living learning centers, which are connected to specific majors. So there's a business LLC and a global LLC. And then you can live off campus, or you can continue to live on campus after your freshman year. We also have interior design, by the way, for the student who asked about that. And then I also see there's a question about master's programs in anesthesiology. And yes, we do have master's programs in anesthesiology. I would advise you to check out the graduate student website.
All right. Thank you so much, James. Can we now have Kenley very quickly? Hear you, Kenley. Kenley, we cannot hear you. You're not audible. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to address the question about honors colleges. The question was, does Redlands offer an honors college? And maybe I can broaden that out a little bit more, because you might be now asking that question to any university. How does an honors college kind of fit into the curriculum? Honors programs, honors colleges, you might find more at larger universities. Maybe they're trying to blend in many of the aspects of a small liberal arts curriculum or cohort, yet you're still embedded in a larger major research public or private university. Typically at smaller liberal arts colleges, which in many ways kind of function like an honors, like a small honors college, and have a lot of the benefits and advantages that you're looking for in an honors college, we're simply not going to have one. But the university as itself sort of functions as one altogether. The other question I'll just touch on is the question about when do students submit their bank accounts or financial statements. It's going to vary widely between universities. Every university kind of has their own philosophy and process. Many universities require this as part of the application process. Other universities require this after a student has been admitted. There's no right or wrong. It's just, the personal preference or institutional preference of the institution. But what I can say is every university will require this in order to qualify for that I-20. You've heard the term F1 student visa a few times in this presentation. So if you want to qualify for an I-20, you certainly will have to provide your financial affidavit, your financial statement. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kenley. All right. Now, can we quickly move to the next presenter? Can we bring in Pooja Jamnani from Salt Lake Community College, please?
My name is Pooja and I'm from Salt Lake Community College. Can you all hear me? If anyone can tell me? Yes? Am I audible? Okay.
We can hear you, Pooja. Go ahead.
So yeah, I'm the India representative for Salt Lake Community College. So for all the students who are trying to study in SLCC from India, I'm here physically present to guide students about their application process and everything. Naveen, can we move to the next slide? Okay, so before I talk about SLCC, I'll give you a quick overview of the structure of US education system. So in US, to complete your bachelor's degree, it usually takes around 4 years. Okay, and out of those 4 years, first 2 years are for your general education, and your third and fourth year is for your majors. That means whatever program you have chosen for. So there are two options to get your bachelor's degree. Option number one is you get enrolled into a 4-year institution, study there for 4 years, and then you get your bachelor's degree. And other option is after class 12, you get enrolled into a community college, which is a 2-year institution. These are smaller institutions, and these are funded by the community, and they just offer associate degree. Okay, so you can study there for first 2 years for your general education. You get an associate degree. Then you take a transfer to a 4-year institution, and you study your third and fourth year there. And then you get the same bachelor's degree. So in both the cases, the duration of the program remains the same, quality of education remains the same, everything will be same. But the difference is, by studying 2 years in a community college, you can save a huge amount of money on your tuition. Because being a smaller institution, their fee structure is very less as compared to state universities. I'll talk more about the tuition fee when I'll come to the cost. Okay, so this is the difference between the two institutions, and SLCC is a community college, and we offer 2-year associate degree. Next slide, please. Okay, so here are some facts about SLCC. Our college was established in 1948, just 1 year after India got independence. So we are around, I think, more than 50 years old institution. And then SLCC is nationally ranked among top 10 community colleges in the nation. Thirdly, it is credited by Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities. So accreditation in US is similar to affiliation in India. So accredited institution means that's a good college there. And then we started in 1948 with just one campus, but today we have 10 campuses all across Utah. Okay. So if you want to study fashion designing, we have a dedicated campus for that. If you want to study culinary arts, we have a separate campus for that. So this way we have 10 campuses in total. And we have 120 programs to choose for. So whether you are interested in fashion designing, you are interested in biotechnology, health sciences, mathematics, or any field, you name it and we have it. So those who all are interested, later on I can share the whole list of programs with you, so you'll get an idea what programs we are offering. And then next thing is, here are a few reasons why you should join SLCC. So number one thing is you can save more than 20 lakh rupees on the cost of education. We don't require any SAT, we don't require any TOEFL, we have a very easy acceptance process. And a lot of students get scholarships who study at SLCC. Another major benefit is you get 4 years of work permit when you study in a community college, because 3 years, if you are a STEM student, you get to work there for 3 years. But if you go for a 2+2 model, after completing your associate degree, you get 1 year to work there on your student visa. Then I'll skip the next point because we have a small class size basically, so there's a 20:1 ratio. So you'll get to study with the professors more closely, and it will be more comfortable for you. Lastly, you get 2 degrees. Once you complete your second year, you get your associate degree. When you complete your 4th year, you get your bachelor's degree. And when you put 2 degrees on your resume, of course, you will get an edge over other applicants whenever you apply for a job or something. Next slide, please. So next slide is basically about cost of education. So the cost is at our college, it's $12,540. So it's around like 9 lakh Indian rupees. And here you can see the difference also. If you study 4 years in a state university, your cost will be like $107,000, so which is around 77 lakh rupees. But if you go for a 2+2 model, when you are studying 2 years in SLCC, you will spend around 56 lakh rupees. So that means you can clearly save 20 lakh rupees on the cost of education by studying 2 years in SLCC. And my time is out. So yeah, if you need any help, if you if you want to apply, I will be here. I can help you with the application process. I can guide you with the course selection and everything. And yeah, that's all. So I think, yeah, we can wrap up. My time is up. Yeah.
Thank you, Pooja.
Thank you.
Can we now bring in Jamila from Kent State University? Sorry, before that, can we? There's this question that students that you see on the screens. Do you think studying first 2 years in a community college is a good option to save money? So please go ahead and give in your responses. Meanwhile, can we have Jamila from Kent State University as the presenter, please? Thank you, Naveen.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
All right, so thank you. My name is Jamila and I represent Kent State University. So I am excited to share some information about our university. So flip to the next slide, please. So we like to call Kent State University a golden location because we are basically the perfect balance of large university resources and a beautiful scenic campus that's close to our downtown Kent. So we're located between two metropolitan cities, Akron and Cleveland. Cleveland is actually the headquarters for over 25 Fortune 1000 firms. And I like to say this because our students have great opportunities for practical experiences like internships and the opportunity to work after graduation in a larger city. We pride ourselves on our safety record. So we are the 25th safest campus in the United States. And our location, as you can see on the map, is pretty reasonable distance from Pittsburgh, New York City, and Chicago. So it's great if you're looking for something to do on the weekend or just to get out of Kent while you're on a holiday or break. We're just strategically located next to so many great cities. Next slide. So because we're a large public research university, you'll find that we have around 38,000 students across all of our campuses, but our main campus has around 21,000 undergraduate students and roughly 5,000 or so graduate students. You'll find people from all over the world. We have 1,500 international students that come from over 100 countries. From India, we have alone over 250 students, and we actually have an on-the-ground resource in India for our students. It's a Kent State office, so you can get direct help from them as well for questions and stuff about your application. Everyone is welcomed at our campus. We have a great international student and scholar services team that will, help you get accustomed to your experience in the United States. So they put on a lot of events and take you to a lot of great places around the, Kent City and, like I said, Akron and Cleveland. We also have around 400 different student organizations. So you're bound to find someone that you share a similar interest with on campus. So we have 11 academic colleges, including our honors college. Obviously, I'm not going to touch on all of our programs because we have over 280 undergraduate programs, but I'll just say that some of the popular programs with our international students would be our pilot program. We have one of the largest or the largest fleet of aircraft in Ohio and our own Kent State Airport. We have aerospace engineering, computer science, architecture, and interior design. We have the number 5 fashion program in the United States. We have all the business programs you can think of, and we have a great public health school, which is obviously going to become increasingly more popular due to everything going on. So at Kent State, we're all about learning by doing. So I want to mention that we have 190 patents for student and faculty inventions, and we are the birthplace of the liquid crystal display. So if you have like a Samsung or a Google phone, I just want to mention that, you know, your screen was birthed here at Kent State University. Next slide, please. And I want to point out that 92% of our graduates are employed after graduation, or they're continuing their education at Kent State. So our graduate school does a great job at working with undergraduate students to see if they want to continue their education. If not, all of our academic colleges do have career resource centers. And I want to mention that we have specifically someone in our career exploration office that works with international students to help them with the job process and timeline. Next slide. So I'm not going to spend too much time on affordability, but I want to just show you the cost of undergraduate education and a graduate education. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the total is roughly $40,000 for undergraduate students, and this is before we apply any scholarships. We, for the most part, are ACT and SAT optional for admission purposes, except for some of our selective programs. Our larger scholarships are more competitive, I should say, too, do require the ACT or SAT, but we have other scholarships that are awarded based on other information like your like an essay and your experience as an international student. So that's about it. I think my time is up, but if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat, and I look forward to answering them.
Well, thank you so much, Jamila. And can we have, yeah, there we go. We have the survey question there on your screens. Students, you can go ahead and answer that. Do you want to apply to Kent State University? All right, great. So please submit your answers. And now can we please bring in Katie from Lawrence University? Naveen, can you please go ahead and do that? Thank you.
Great, thank you. Lawrence University is named Forbes' top college in the United States and featured in the book Colleges That Changes Lives. We focus all of our energy on educating the undergraduate student, which means no graduate programs. So that means no TAs are teaching your classes. You are taught directly by faculty who are experts in the field. Our small class sizes are designed for your voice to be heard. Our student to faculty ratio of 8:1 is one of the lowest student to faculty ratios in the United States. And we believe that international students thrive in our individualized learning environment. Next slide, please. Our liberal arts college and Conservatory of Music curriculum follows the most effective ways to prepare you for a life of personal fulfillment and professional accomplishment. We offer multiple areas of study, and our flexibility and our faculty advising support allows you to explore all of your interests and dive deep into anything that you may be interested in as a multi-interested, engaged student. Two distinct Lawrence University programs is our Freshman Studies program, as well as our Chandler Experience. Freshman Studies course is designed to advance your writing, researching, and debating skills. And then the Freshman Experience is where you work one-on-one with a faculty member to think through and design a project of your own. It could be a publication, an art show, a performance, a research finding. You will get to create your own senior experience to demonstrate all that you have learned throughout your time at Lawrence. Every student at Lawrence is on their own unique educational journey, which can include off-campus experiences, volunteering, researching with faculty and leadership among campus community. Using this engaged approach to learning, Lawrence University helps students develop the abilities that are highly valued, we find, in graduate schools as well as employers. In fact, over 99% of our graduates go on to their next adventure, including employment, some of the nation's top graduate and professional schools, and certainly impactful service work. Next slide, please. Our campus is quite small and holds around 1,500 students. We are 100% residential, with about 15% of our students coming from over 50 countries. We do require students to live on campus because living on campus allows you to explore many more extracurricular interests, whether it's our athletic teams or music performances or student-run organizations. We are located in Wisconsin in the Midwest, and our Riverside campus is located next to Appleton, downtown Appleton, which allows you to walk to internships, dining, and shopping, all that you will find in a larger city. It's also important to note that Appleton, Wisconsin is ranked top 10 safest city in the United States, and you can fly here from any international hub, such as Atlanta, Chicago, or Detroit. Next slide, please. We believe that you have something great to offer the world, and we want to help support you. And it certainly starts with the application process. And each school has slightly different requirements, as in English proficiency or test scores. We have been test optional since 2006, and each school has different application deadlines. And I'll allow you to find that on our website. What I do want to highlight is our scholarship opportunities. Lawrence is committed to supporting international students. Though we do not offer full needs scholarships, families are expected to contribute to the cost of the education at Lawrence. Financial aid packages at Lawrence consist of a combination of academic scholarships, need-based grant, and campus employment. Scholarships are based on that academic merit. So when you are applying to Lawrence, you are also applying for that merit scholarship. There is no separate form. Your application for admission is your application for that merit scholarship. To be considered for need-based aid, you will be asked to complete a separate financial aid application and submit that supporting documents, which then allows our financial aid team to determine if you are eligible for financial assistance in addition to any merit scholarship that the university may offer you. We do realize that financing and education can be difficult and costly, and so we will work with each family individually to help support you. Last slide, please. My name is Katie, and I just encourage you to join our mailing list and visit our website to continue this conversation. For you to be successful means to find the support if and when you need it along every step of the way, and our Lawrence University community is here to support you. We do look forward to getting to know you and helping you explore all of the opportunities available to you at Lawrence University. Thank you.
Katie, can we now have Kaylee from University of Minnesota, Duluth? Kaylee, if you can hear me, then you have been made the presenter. Okay, there we go. All right. Yes.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kawaja. So hi, everyone. My name is Kaylee Kelleher, and I'm here to represent the University of Minnesota, Duluth. I'm the International Recruitment Coordinator, and I started my position at the end of March, but I'm more than happy to answer your questions. And, if I don't know the answer, I will be sure to let you know. Next slide, please. So first of all, I'd like to talk about where we are. Duluth, Minnesota is along the northern border of the U.S. in the central region. So we're right at the tip of Lake Superior. So we're known as being part of this international port We're actually called the Twin Ports. So twin meaning Duluth, Minnesota, and Superior, Wisconsin. So we're border cities and border states. So we're about a 4-hour drive from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. We're about 2.5 hours away from our state capital of St. Paul. And we're also an hour and 40-minute flight to Chicago. The Twin Ports is known as a tourist destination. Many people from large cities will come to visit us because we have friendly people. We have lots of things to do outdoors. We also have a vibrant cultural and music scene as well. Many people will come to our city to escape the big city, go fishing, camping, skiing, or kayaking. No matter what your activity of choice, Duluth has something for you. And as a fun fact, Duluth is ranked the most climate-friendly city by the New York Times. In times of climate change and everything, Duluth is considered a climate-proof city. Next slide, please. So the University of Minnesota Duluth is part of the University of Minnesota system, which is a premier public university system that has obtained the highest level of U.S. and international accreditation in the U.S. Students who attend UMD can be challenged to explore the depth and breadth of their major by coupling those academic experiences with hands-on learning. UMD has highly ranked programming, including engineering and computer science programs with ABET accreditation, as well as our business program is AACSB accredited. And accreditation matters when it comes to finding a job after you graduate. It's a very competitive environment, and students with that higher level of accreditation are going to be offered more opportunities to apply to a wider range of selective positions. And university admission is selective, and students are challenged to think in new ways and entertain a variety of perspectives. And we'd like to say that our students are driven to discover. Next slide, please. Also, so I mentioned the variety of activities in which students can participate both on and off campus. So Minnesota is a state within the U.S. that experiences all 4 seasons. So including a warm, welcoming summer, a cool and brisk fall where the leaves of many local trees will change colors and it's beautiful, a snowy winter, and a rainy and many times snowy spring. Students can become involved in activities year-round and challenge themselves to try something different. As you can see in the lower left hand corner, there are some students who are canoeing. And so this is a local type of boat, a non-motorized boat, and there are many opportunities to go on local rivers and various things and experience the wide outdoors. And also I'd like to say that, during the pandemic, it's actually been really wonderful to be here in this area because there are so many things to do outdoors and there aren't a large number of people. So you can be by yourself and you can go and explore. And so it's made, weathering the pandemic not so bad. Next slide, please. So while on campus, many students are able to participate in undergraduate research and find funding for these opportunities through an undergraduate research scholarship program. So as I mentioned, Duluth is on the largest lake in the world, Lake Superior. There are many, wetlands and other places that are really highly protected in the state of Minnesota, which allows for really wonderful research opportunities in terms of climate and local biological systems. Even because we are an international port, there are opportunities to test ballast water, for example, from local ships and international ships that will come in and test for invasive species, for example. There are also many opportunities, to conduct research, medical research and pharmaceutical research as well. We have a lot of projects with renewable energy and sustainable agricultural and food security as well, which is really kind of a major that will help advance us in the future as we're facing various shortages worldwide. Let's see. Next slide, please. Finally, graduation, right? Why do you enroll in these classes? To graduate, right, and get a position that can offer you everything and more that you're looking for. So our students complete their programs with a vast array of knowledge, diverse perspectives, and soft skills that will help them to be employed at some of the most prestigious employers. Former students go on to graduate school at top institutions, both within the U.S. and worldwide. So I encourage you to reach out to the University of Minnesota Minnesota Duluth if you're interested in learning more about attending our institution. And Kawaja, I'm not sure how much time I have left, but I do want to mention a few of our majors if I have a few more moments. Is that all right?
Yeah, I mean, if you could just wind up, because you have, of course, run out of your time.
Oh.
But yeah, you just want to wind up, you could go ahead, please, quickly.
Sure. Okay. So we have a wide range of engineering programs at the bachelor's degree level, as well as some notable majors, statistics and actuarial science, linguistics, journalism, healthcare management, GIS, financial planning, and many more. We do have, let's see, I think a student was asking about management information systems. We do have a management information systems program as well. So thank you so much for letting me go a little over time.
All right. Thank you so much, Kaylee. Well, now you see the question there, students. You can go ahead and address that question. What are you looking forward to most about attending a university abroad? All right. Go ahead and submit your answers. And now may we have the last presenter for the evening today, Pablo Torres from University of New Mexico. Can we make him the presenter, please? Thank you. Meanwhile, the students may go ahead and address this question.
Okay there.
All right.
Greetings. Good evening. Last but hopefully not least, I assume you can hear me.
Yes. Please go ahead, Pablo. I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. My name is Pablo, like Picasso. I'm from the University of New Mexico. It's not new and it's not Mexico. The state of New Mexico is one of the 50 U.S. states. We are located in the southwest region of the U.S., essentially between the states of California and Texas and south of Colorado. You'll see this image here. This is here on the picture at the top is a picture of our campus. That's our main recreational playing field. You'll see the mountains in the background. We are on the western slope of the Rocky Mountains. So it's essentially a location where desert meets mountain. So we do have skiing in the winter, but we do have very nice weather throughout the year. We have 310 days of sunshine. You'll note in that picture there, those buildings, those are some of our on-campus housing. The University of New Mexico has a very distinct architecture style. I do not know of any other university in the U.S. or possibly in the whole world that has architecture like the University of New Mexico. So it's a very unique, beautiful environment, lots of sunshine, and the University of New Mexico is the main public research university for the state of New Mexico. So it's a publicly funded research university. We do have students from all over the U.S., all 50 U.S. states, as well as 100 different countries. So you'll find a lot of opportunities here at the University of New Mexico. There are over 215 academic programs, public research university, great weather, in a really distinct location. So I think we could go to the next slide. The university was founded in 1889. We have approximately 29,000 students, a large campus, 700 acres, a student-faculty ratio of 20:1. You'll see the statistics here. As I mentioned previously, there are 215 academic programs that students can choose from. As a public research university, we are funded primarily by the taxes that are paid by the residents of the state. So the residents of the state can pay in-state tuition, and people who come from outside of the state, whether it's Texas or California or another country, would typically pay out-of-state tuition. However, the University of New Mexico does have a wonderful opportunity. We can offer in-state tuition, which is the lower tuition cost to students from outside of the state of New Mexico, including to international students. That scholarship for international students is called the International Amigo Scholarship. With the Amigo Scholarship, you'd pay UNM's in-state tuition. So out-of-state tuition is approximately $23,000 per year. If you get the Amigo Scholarship as an undergraduate, your tuition would be dropped to about $7,600 per year. So it's a huge savings, based purely on your academic record, and that's something that we want students like yourself to know about, that there are opportunities here for scholarships for you to receive if you want to study in the U.S. I think we can move on to the next slide. This is the general admissions information for undergraduate students. The University of New Mexico, even before the COVID pandemic, did not require the SAT or ACT exams. No SAT, no SAT, no ACT. We look at your academic record and the results of an English proficiency exam. So for the English proficiency, if you took the SAT or ACT, you could submit those scores and we can use them in lieu of TOEFL, IELTS, or we do now accept the Duolingo English test for all undergraduate and graduate international applicants. The Office of International Admissions Program, the Office of International Admissions Department where I work, we will review your application for admission and we will make the admission decision for you. But we just look at your academic record and the results of one of these exams. There are no letters of recommendation, no other requirements, no essay or anything like that. Just the online form and this information. I think we could go to the next slide, please. Graduate admissions. The graduate admission decisions, or postgraduate as folks say in India, are completely decided by the specific programs. The Office of International Admissions at the University of New Mexico, we compile the information, we verify the documentation, but we do not make the admission decision. We submit it to the specific departments, the specific graduate programs, and they have an admission committee that will make the admission decision. They can nominate you for the International Amigo Scholarship, which gives you in-state tuition that I mentioned earlier. They can also offer you funding from their own funds, which could be an assistantship. And an assistantship could give you the same benefit as in-state tuition, or it could be more generous depending on what the offer is. So if you are looking for a postgraduate program, the University of New Mexico has many options. We would certainly love to hear from you and connect you with information about the different graduate programs we have here, and certainly be available to answer questions you may have about what is offered, what kinds of research takes place, what kinds of assistantships have been offered to students in the past. And I think let's go to the next slide, which I believe is the last. This is my contact information. I share this freely. Many students like WhatsApp. You can always send me a message through WhatsApp, email, or if you'd like to arrange a Skype call. There are many different formats and ways to chat. Looking forward to talking with everybody, and hopefully, this was just a small sample of what the University of New Mexico offers. Essentially, it's a large public research university, southwest region of the U.S., and we can offer you in-state tuition if you qualify for the Amigo Scholarship. Thank you for your time, and hope you're having a good evening.
Well, thank you so much, Pablo. Well, and now we come to the end of the presentation, of course. There we have the question on the screen. So students, please go ahead and address this question. How is the University of New Mexico different from any other university in the USA or even in the rest of the world? So please go ahead and address that. And we could still have Pablo there because he could have addressed, because now we have the question answer round. And if there were any questions that needed to be addressed that were maybe directed to him, he could have addressed them, and then we could have moved to the the other presenters. So can we bring in Pablo once again and give him some time to maybe address any questions that were there for University of New Mexico? Pablo, if you have any questions that you see in the chat box addressed to your university, you could Pablo, can you hear me? All right, never mind. If he's not around, can we bring in Jamila from Kent State, and then we can bring in Pablo later. You could go ahead and address. I cannot hear you, Jamila.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, I
All
can.
right.
Please go ahead.
Sorry.
So if there are
Yeah.
any questions you would want to address, please go ahead.
Yep, I think I addressed everything via the chat. I'm looking over it right now. I was asked if we have MIS program and CS. So I just want to mention that we have at both the undergraduate and graduate levels a computer science program, and then you can do a concentration in computer information systems. But we also have a up-and-coming program called Business Analytics, which is a blend of both some computer science and some data, which is a STEM program too that's in our College of Business. So if the student who asked that question is interested in either of those programs, we have both of them. And then we also have a business program with an information systems concentration. And then for GPA, some of our programs will be willing to look over students who do have less than 3.0 if you're undergraduate. It's just that you wouldn't qualify for our scholarships that are merit-based at that point. So we might consider you for admission to the university, but we wouldn't exactly consider you for anything else, or for any scholarships that are like more competitive. I see a question about percent of students getting visas, and I just want to mention that this is not really dependent on our personal university. So I think every university that's in this session would be able to tell you that it just depends on the student and the country. Obviously, I can tell you last year we saw a really large incoming international class of over 300 new students. And then obviously we're here to help you if you have questions about the process for applying for a visa. It's just something that no one can guarantee you'll be able to get. And I know this year it's going to be a little bit difficult because of the pandemic, but I can't really give any information otherwise about visas. And then just for engineering programs, we are not an engineering or a medical school. We have at the undergraduate level, we have one program in aerospace engineering. And then for master's students, we have like a master's of technology, which is similar to like an engineering program. Well, it's engineering technology, but it's a little bit less science-based and a little bit more hands-on technology. So I would say it's an engineering program, but it's less research-based. Any other questions? I think I got credit system. I'm not sure what credit system means. We follow the same or the normal regular credit-based system in the US. I would probably need someone to expand on what that means. And then the minimum percentage required, if you're from India and you have at least a 60% or higher, overall, you'll be pretty much fine. But again, we would really have to see a transcript to be able to determine that.
All right. Thank you so much,
Yep.
Jamila. Yeah. So can we now have Katie from Lawrence University? Bring in Katie, please. Naveen. Can we make Katie the presenter? All right.
Hi, I believe you're able to hear me. Thank you. Yes, thank you for asking about the questions, especially about music. Because we have such a strong conservatory of music, we are pleased to offer many undergraduate programs and a Bachelor of Music. But unfortunately, we are just undergraduate education, so we do not offer any Masters of Music or CS Masters programs at Lawrence University. We are strictly undergraduate. I did see a few other questions that I wanted to take a minute and address, if you wouldn't mind. The first was about
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. The first was about accommodation. So I did mention that Lawrence University is 100% residential, and we do require our students to live on campus all 4 years. But we have different living situations where students can choose. So sometimes they live in a residence hall where they have a roommate. Sometimes they choose to live in an apartment style house, even though it happens to be on campus. And then some of our favorite housing options are our unit housings, where student organizations get together and petition to live together. So for example, we have a swing dance house this year, and we have a gaming house. And so every year those unit houses change, but we have a lot of different accommodations. So even though people are thinking, oh, I don't want to live on campus all 4 years, we have some accommodations for you. Thank you for asking about the percentage required for scholarships. Similar to many other liberal arts schools, we actually take a much more kind of holistic view of applications. And what I mean by holistic view is I'm not going to stand here and give you kind of the threshold, if you will, of scores that you need to meet to get into Lawrence University. We look at your letters of recommendations. We look at your essay writing, your teacher letters of recommendations. We look at your transcripts, certainly your test scores, if you choose to submit them. So we work with a committee of 3 or 4 people that handpick each person to come to our university. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we are small. And so this year we have about 400 students in our incoming class, and about 75 students are international students. And so we have handpicked each 75 students to join that incoming class of 400. And then the last thing I wanted to mention that I saw come through was about the credit system. And Lawrence is a little bit different because we are not on a semester system, we are on a trimester system. So that means we have 3 10-week terms that students can study 3 or 4 courses throughout those 10-week terms. So that's a little bit maybe different as well. Great. I think I've answered all of the questions, and I will pass it back to you. Thank you again for allowing me to be part of your evening.
All right. Thank you so much for being there and addressing those questions. Well, can we now bring in Kelly from UMD?
Hi there, can you all hear me?
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Wonderful. Okay, let's see. I think I've answered a lot of the questions here. As far as the credit system, I just want to say a little bit more about that. So, a lot of universities will have generally a 120 credit bachelor's degree program. Many times 60 of those credits, so those first 2 years, many students will complete kind of some general education requirements, as well as some additional courses, kind of introduction courses in their major, and then they will focus really on that major in the 3rd and 4th years. It all depends on, what the major program is. Many music programs will start you in music right away, just because of the sequential order of courses and just myriad, courses required. Let's see here. I see band required to apply. And is this, is this in regards to a music program by a chance? I see the student's name starts with a K. So I know a student also asked about our music program. So we have a variety of music programs at the bachelor and master's degree level, depending on what a student wants to specialize in. So if you want to be a conductor, for example, or if you want to go into applied music, if you want to become, a professional musician at the orchestral level, that kind of thing. We are accredited by the National School of Music Association, so that's pretty fantastic as well. Let's see. What are available options for a student of science stream? So yes, good question. I'm going to bring up our majors right now because as I mentioned, I started at the end of March and I don't want to skip anything. So we have a lot of students who will study, biology, chemistry, biochemical engineering, for example. Let's see, many different types of engineering. So we have, let me just pull up my list here. So we have chemical, civil, computer, electrical, industrial, mechanical, and mechanical engineering, as well as engineering physics. We also have many students who will study actuarial science, mathematics, that kind of thing, as well as physics. Let's see, just gonna make sure I haven't skipped anything. Actually, there are just quite a few majors. And so I'm actually going to put that major list in the chat so you can go ahead and take a look at that at your leisure. But please feel free to reach out to me. And that's at the bachelor's level. So that will be approved shortly. Another question, do you have these for a student who wishes to pursue graduation? So as far as graduation, so we have bachelor's degree levels as well as master's degree levels, and we also have some doctoral programs as well. And so students who want to study computer science and music can do so at the bachelor's degree level as well as the master's degree level. So master's degree level, the graduate, or we call them postgraduate, you might be familiar with that. So those are options for students, yes. Let's see, were there any other questions I haven't addressed? Okay, what about the diploma? Yes, let's talk about that. So, as far as students who get the, bachelor's degree diploma, it's actually going to say the University of Minnesota on the diploma. And so that's because that's our flagship campus. And so every college campus associated with the University of Minnesota system will receive that University of Minnesota diploma. And so, many students know the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. And so we are just another campus where you can study through the University of Minnesota. But when you get that diploma, it will say the University of Minnesota. Does that answer your question about the diploma?
All right. So thank you so much, Kaylee, for those answers. And I think we can maybe have University of New Mexico now for the answers, because I see a few questions addressed for Pablo. So can we bring in Pablo, please? There we go. So
Okay. There we go. It looks like now I'm available.
All right, Pablo. Yeah, please go ahead.
The University of New Mexico does have graduate programs in engineering. There are many different options, both at the undergraduate and graduate level: computer science, electrical engineering, mechanical, civil, music program at both the undergraduate and graduate level. It's a master's of music at the graduate level. Small coursework in that program in particular. There's a lot of individualized instruction for music, so all different types of instrumentation, vocal performance. There's even an opera course. To apply for admission, it's very straightforward. Everything is done online. There's an undergraduate online application where you fill in your data information about yourself, and then you submit scanned copies of your transcript records. We do take scanned copies of your academic records for both undergraduate and graduate admissions review. And so we just ask that you bring your official transcript transcripts whenever you actually arrive to the campus, but we will offer the admission review and admission decision with scanned copies of records, both undergraduate and graduate, and test scores are sent directly from the testing company. Regarding accommodations, the university does offer on-campus housing. There is accommodation available to students at the university campus. However, now during the COVID-19 pandemic, the university has made the decision that there will not be any shared rooms. So all students who live on campus will have their own individual private rooms. So students who do want to live on campus, we are encouraging them to apply early because those spaces will fill up because there will be less available. Regarding documentation, we need the official test results of English proficiency for an undergraduate, so that's TOEFL or IELTS. Those test results should be sent from the testing company to the University of New Mexico. You can also choose the Cambridge exam or Pearson test of English, and also the Duolingo English test. And then your copies of your academic records, which you can scan and submit as scanned copies. So it's the online application, the scanned copies of your academic record, transcripts, and then the official English proficiency test results. For a graduate student, you might need to take the GRE exam. However, that depends on each program. Each individual graduate program requires the GRE or not. Some programs do not require that. For the English exam on the TOEFL, for example, for an undergraduate, the minimum is a 68. For a graduate student, the minimum is a 79. So yeah, again, TOEFL, minimum 68, graduate 79. IELTS for an undergraduate will accept a 65 or higher, 6.5. For a postgraduate graduate, for IELTS, we want a 7.0, a 7 or higher. I don't know if there were other questions. I think those were all the ones.
All right. Thank you so much, Pablo.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think, is there anyone who wants to address any questions? I mean, I'm asking to the university representatives there. I think we've been able to address most of the questions. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for taking out time. Thank you, students, for joining us. And you have the details of the universities. You are most welcome to reach out to them. Of course, we will provide your contact details to the universities as well, and they will definitely be reaching out, and they're always open for you to reach out, and they'll be happy to address your queries. All right, so thank you so much, one and all, for joining us from United States and from India in the evening, and each one of you. And we will definitely keep striving to connect both fraternities, the students and the U.S. universities. Thank you all.